Am I the asshole for going out of town for a concert while my daughter is sick? Over 6 months ago, I bought tickets to a concert 5+ hours away from my city. The concert is tomorrow, and I plan to drive down tonight after work and after dropping my daughter off at her dad's. The ticket and my accommodations are already paid for and are non-refundable. I've been really excited for this trip since I found out about it. All week, my daughter, who is 10 years old, has been homesick. She has a dry cough, slight fever, but nothing extreme, and a decreased appetite. I work from home, and it's slow season at work, so I was able to be by her side all week to take care of her. She is slowly getting better, but still not feeling great. I updated her dad on her condition so he could keep an eye on it, but now he's saying that I'm being selfish and I should skip my trip so he doesn't catch whatever she has. We share custody. During the school year, I have her during the week so I can stay on top of her schooling, homework, extracurricular activities, etc. If I'm not on top of it, he can't be bothered. Her dad picks her up from school on Fridays and has her for the weekend. I pick her back up Sunday morning just before noon to take her to horseback riding lessons, and the cycle continues. The only exception is the summer, which is a lot more hectic, but she spends 90% of her summer with me or camping and traveling with my side of the family. She first started getting sick last weekend while she was at her dad's, so if he was going to catch it, he would have already. He insists that I should be keeping her at my house until she's feeling better. I told him that I'd be dropping her off tonight after work, and he called me a selfish bitch. Am I the asshole? Edit to add, since people are asking, the concert is Papa Roach. Edit 2, I asked my daughter what she wants to do. Her response was, I want to go play Minecraft with Dad. No, she doesn't witness our arguments, they are always in text. I made it a condition in our custody agreement that everything regarding our daughter is to be discussed in writing. She knows that she is loved and that I would never abandon her if she truly needed me. With a mild cold, where she is actively getting better, she does not need me specifically. In the comments, she got sick while at his house, and he had no problem sending her to you and risking you getting infected. Your ex is just using this as an excuse to get out of childcare for the weekend. Not the asshole. This part. And you need to tell him, OP. She can clearly be cared for without catching her illness, as I have cared for her all week and I'm fine. And she was in your care last weekend when she was starting to get sick. You seem to be fine as well. And she would have been the most contagious when she was staying with him, but he was fine sending her back to OP knowing that he might have already caught it and that OP might catch it too. Not the asshole. He doesn't want you to go and have a fun weekend, OP. He is being selfish, not you. As a former family law attorney, if it's his turn to take care of her, it's his turn to take care of her. He doesn't get to take care of her just when she's feeling good. It's not Camp Daddy. It's called actual parenting, and that is his job. It's in my separation agreement that parenting time includes taking care of a sick child. It's sad to me to learn that this is even a thing that needs to be in writing, but it doesn't surprise me at all. I bet that there are all kinds of shitty common sense things that have to be added to those agreements. Family law has to be insane. Not the asshole. His time is parenting time. The hell is he thinking? That he gets to skip parenting duty so he doesn't get sick? Oh, but it's fine if you get sick or miss out on a special event. Absolutely not. He doesn't get to pick and choose father times. But I would absolutely get a standby babysitter because this clown is going to be a selfish turd and probably refuse. Exactly. It's his responsibility as a parent. He doesn't even care about the taking care of his kid while she's sick. Quote, I told her that I'd be dropping her off tonight after work, and he called me a selfish bitch. Right. Because he's very clearly not being selfish in his request. Ah, yes. The one using foul language towards their ex-partner is the one that is morally upstanding in this situation. Maybe the more I beat you down, the more that you will agree with me and do what I want you to do. Yes, that is a smart strategy on his behalf, and definitely will not lead to parental alienation if and when the child sees him acting this way. You just gotta lay down the law with children like him. This is your kid. You're an adult. Act like it. If you get sick, you get sick. That's what you signed up for. Maybe you should have thought twice about having a kid if you didn't want the responsibility of that child, you dickhead. Not the arsehole OP. And now, onto the update. Friday after work, I dropped my daughter off at her dad's as planned. He answered the door with a smile and hugged our daughter. As soon as she wasn't looking, he gave me a death glare. If looks could kill, I'd be 6 feet under. Before I left, I asked him to update me on her condition in the morning, so if I needed to, then I could reschedule her riding lesson. I was very specific that it needed to be before noon, 24 hours notice, or I would be out the money for the missed lesson. I tried calling on Saturday morning to check in, but he wouldn't pick up. Around 5 p.m., I got a text saying to reschedule the lesson. I went to the concert and enjoyed the show. Yes, I wore a mask. Near the end, Jacoby started walking through the crowd, climbing up and down the seats, giving fans hugs, thrashing in the mosh pit. He came right up to me, and my dumb ass was just frozen in shock. What the hell is wrong with me? I picked her up Sunday morning, and when I gave her the tote bag, her face lit up like a Christmas tree. Context for those that didn't see my comment, when I bought the ticket, I asked my daughter if she wanted to go too. She likes the songs like Come Around, Born for Greatness, Renegade Music, Leave a Light On. Her response was, I like him, but not that much. So I asked if she wanted a t-shirt or something, and she said, not a t-shirt, but I'll take a tote bag. After getting home, I found out that she didn't spend time at her dad's at all. Shortly after I dropped her off, he had his mum come pick her up. She only just got back to her dad's about an hour before I picked her back up. She said she still had fun watching TV and playing board games, but she would have preferred to play Minecraft. She's still coughing a bit, but she's got her energy and appetite back, and her fever broke before I left. After dinner, we spent the evening playing crib. Thank you to everyone who showed support and gave genuine constructive advice. I didn't expect my post to blow up like it did. To everyone who had fun roasting my taste in music, thank you for the much-needed laughs. If you would like to continue doing so, I will post a comment of some other artists that I listen to on my long drive. I think a few people made some wild assumptions by projecting their own trauma to my situation. To those people, I hope you find peace. In the comments, why is he such a bad father? Oof. Edit, to be clear, he is actively choosing to be a horrible father, and he's using his lack of care for his daughter as a weapon against OP. I feel so bad for the child. Habit and practice. His actions really don't give involved parent vibes. Ignoring calls and passing her off right away isn't great. You handled your side responsibly. He just didn't really show up here. Wow, what a total asshole your ex is. Shockingly bad. The decision to wait until you were going to lose money on the riding lesson is super transparent. I have a friend who's been navigating this bullshit with her long-term ex, with whom she shared custody of 2 kids. He seemed to live to make things harder for her, just because. Every time he had a chance to inconvenience her, mess up an established plan, etc., he jumped at it. That seems like it's the type of person your ex is. Take solace in the fact that you live rent-free in his head, and that he is evidently such a miserable person as to pull such stuff like this. It's extremely sad for your daughter, however, that he is such an absentee father, and if this continues, document it. You should consider revisiting the custody arrangement. Subtle but repeated rejections like this will hurt your daughter over time. So the dad doesn't want to risk getting sick from his daughter, but is fine risking his mum getting sick? Let's risk the health of an older woman, but not a younger man. I suppose women naturally have a better immune system around kids than men do, huh? Yeah, he's an asshole, and I can see why you aren't with him. That was my first thought. Grandma might not be frail and elderly, but she's probably at least 50 years old, so getting sick would probably be worse for her. But Dad's like, here, Mum, take my little plague vector because I must stay healthy. Amen, that's just how some absentee parents are. They want the idea of their child without the responsibility of looking after them when they are vulnerable and sick and needing help from their parent. No, this is a job for Grandma, of course. Yeah, I don't blame you for leaving him either, OP. Screw that guy. You did the right thing in this situation, he did the wrong thing. You still got to go have fun at the concert, which sounded like a fantastic time. Hopefully, your child one day wakes up and realizes how much of a dickhead he is, and starts treating him as such. Our next post is by the user Alligator3332, titled, I have a gut feeling that my 42 female husband, 42 male, is cheating with a parent in our kids' scout troop, and I can't focus or think of anything else. So my husband is gone for the weekend chaperoning our kids on a scout outing, and I just can't focus right now. I have a gut feeling telling me that he's having an affair with another parent in the troop 2 of our kids are in. We've been married for 15 years, together for 17 years, and have 3 kids. 14 male, 12 female, 8 male. In that time, I've never had any feeling that he wasn't faithful until this week due to a comment from another parent at this month's parent meeting. I don't remember exactly how she said it, but the gist of it was that if she didn't know better, she would think that my husband and this other parent really were married. This isn't the first time that those comments have been made, but it never bothered me when my husband told me about those comments in the past. But those comments were never really said in front of me, and it triggered doubt that I just can't overcome and made me question my trust in my husband. We've known this other parent for years, since her oldest, also 14 male, has been in scouts and other activities with our oldest since they moved to the area about 7 years ago. She is married, but I don't know how long they've been married. We never see her husband at awards nights, band concerts, or other events, and she's made some comments in the past that make me wonder about how healthy her marriage is. She's also a leader in the troop, and until they joined a mixed-gender troop pilot last year, were pretty much the only active leaders who could take the scouts on campouts and other activities. For anyone who isn't familiar with scouting rules, a minimum of 2 deep adult leadership is required for any meetings or outings, and the other adult leadership in the troop often had conflicts that prevented them from going. So if my husband and this other parent didn't go, there would be no outings for our kids. There were 2 years that they were also the only 2 adults taking 4 scouts to the week-long summer camps. He also had her contact pinned on his phone because they text frequently. Those text messages usually seem to be about scouting-related stuff. Our kids and I are also pinned and at the top of his list, so I don't think he's prioritizing her over me. There are more active leaders now that they did the mixed-gender pilot, but the other leaders are mostly women. My husband gets along with all of them pretty well, although they are the ones who make comments about them being married. I tried talking to my sister, 40 female, married, about this tonight, but she just fed into it. She wanted me to push for an open marriage like her so that she could have a wingman. But we are completely different people, and I don't want her lifestyle. Am I overreacting, or is there something there that I'm not seeing? In the comments, There Is No Spoon 64 says, I would straight up ask my husband what the hell is going on, but I'm not one for playing coy. OP says, if I could be that direct, I don't think I would be here. Honestly, I've been through infidelity several times, and I think the best approach is to stay quiet and prepare yourself. Get the irrefutable evidence together before confrontation. Decide if this means divorce. If so, get your ducks in a row financially and consult a lawyer before you confront him. This is incredibly important, as when people panic or are confronted, they can either dig down deeper and try to gaslight you, or act irrationally by draining bank accounts, etc. Please don't get trapped thinking, my husband would never do something like that, because I assure you, we never know what people are capable of when they're flailing and trying to save their marriage/life. Some comments have been made because things with counselor have become cozier lately. I think it's time for some adjustments in your relationship. Please tell me what boundaries you plan to put in place to respect your wife and protect your marriage. Back up to the post, there's an update. First, thank you to everyone who has commented so far. I've had a night to sleep on this and think about it and some of the comments or questions I received. First, I do plan to talk to my husband about this. He texted me this morning and wants to do a movie date night for the 2 of us tomorrow night when he gets back. Movie nights usually end with us having sex. So I plan to talk to him about how that comment made me feel, and a few of you gave me some ways to approach the conversation that doesn't come across as defensive or accusatory. He's told me about those comments in the past, and it always seemed like a joke. I guess hearing it directly in a way that I didn't interpret as a joke sent my mind down this path. I'm just not comfortable being direct about it and asking if he's having an affair. Aside from the scout meetings, he's home every night, and our kids are with him at the meetings. Second, the parent I'm concerned about isn't on this weekend's outing. I'm Facebook friends with her, and she's made some posts that confirm that she isn't there. Third, my husband is not trying to keep me away from the troop. He's been encouraging me to get involved, as have some of the other leaders from the girls' troop they merged with for the pilot. Honestly, it just seems like there's bad vibes here, and I would take the advice of the comments and consolidate all the irrefutable information that you have and make your decision from there. Make sure that it is irrefutable evidence of cheating, anything that you can find. I'm going to bet that they are in those messages between him and her, because you don't want to have him flailing and doing some bullshit and obfuscating details when you don't have solid evidence of it. We have gut feelings for a reason, and I think that gut feeling is probably right in this instance. And now, on to the update. I had already planned a vacation day for today, since I have vacation that I have to use up before the end of the year, so I wanted to provide some updates. I wanted to answer a few questions that have popped up on the other thread to add some context. A few people asked why I wasn't involved in scouting and if there were other things going on in my personal life that made me feel this way. I was more involved in scouting when my oldest was a Cub Scout with my husband, but as my oldest crossed over into Boy Scouts, the time commitment increased. I also don't drive because I never got my license in high school, so my husband had to pick up the slack on that. He really wants me to be more involved since our troop is now a mixed gender troop and our daughter also joined. My job also gets in the way of a lot of things. I teach a 4K program in a private childcare center. That's normally a lot of work, and it's year-round. My summer is busier because public schools are out and we have more kids. But this year has been harder than normal. We have a new curriculum, a new assessment we have to do on every kid, and the kids are harder because they're either not prepared for my room or they have behavior challenges. I'm up until well after midnight most nights working on lesson plans or preparing for the next day's activities. Although he tells me that I shouldn't work so hard if I'm not getting paid for it, my husband is mostly supportive of my job and will run errands for me and bring me coffee or lunch when I need it. Our local library will ask him questions about the books that I put on hold for my classroom because he usually picks them up. Some of you DM'd me to ask about intimacy. I feel like my needs are being fulfilled. I wasn't sure if his needs are since his sex drive has gone up over the last few years. He had some health issues and was put on high blood pressure medication about 5 years ago, and he worked hard to get off them within a year. He lost weight and works out more. After reading through a few of the posts on here, I know this will come up. He does not go to a gym. He works out on our treadmill and with some dumbbells in our basement. But he's never complained to me about intimacy. He knows about some things in my past and doesn't push. I'm sure he wants it more, but I'm not spontaneous, and it's hard to find time when you have 3 kids and a job that takes all your time. That said, I'm quite pleased with our sex life. My husband was on a weekend scout outing with 2 of our oldest kids when I made that post, and he didn't get back until later yesterday afternoon. I had a chance to talk to him and the troop scoutmaster yesterday. The scoutmaster called me yesterday afternoon because she had a question about the shirt sizes that my kids needed for the new activity shirt that they're ordering, and my husband was out of cell service at that time. During that conversation, I mentioned that the married couple comment that was made at the last parent meeting had made me uncomfortable. She understood and says that she's been trying to stop that. I asked her some questions about my husband and this other parent, and she says that they're more like brother and sister than a married couple. She says that they joke around, but she hasn't seen anything that looks like flirting between them. They will sit next to each other at meals when the adults eat together, but she doesn't see anything that makes her think that anything is going on. I talked with my husband last night. I approached the conversation by raising my concern about the married couple comments. He understood and said that he didn't like them either. He knows that I can have some anxiety issues. I asked if I could look through his phone, and he allowed me to. I looked at their text history, and I didn't see anything that would concern me. Their texts were all about scouting, a few book recommendations, a text or two about crowdfunded backpacking or hiking gear, and a text thread about some advice of a car issue that she was having last year when her husband wasn't around. He also let me look through his other apps. His job involved stuff with computers before he got laid off, so he had a few apps like Slack and WhatsApp. He showed me WhatsApp, and the only messages were with other people that are his former co-workers. He also had Signal, which was locked with Face ID. He opened it without hesitation, and the only two conversations were with former co-workers who did something with computer security. My husband also showed me his iPad and Kindle. I didn't see anything on his iPad that concerned me. When I looked at his Kindle, I learned that he likes reading what he called cozy romance novels or Hallmark movies in book form. Our date nights usually involve a Hallmark movie or two, and he told me that he had to research books before borrowing them from the library or buying them on Amazon because he's been surprised by how graphic some of the books get when the summary sounds extremely innocent. After that, I asked him a question that I probably shouldn't have, but the DMs I received and another Reddit post here made me curious. I asked him if he masturbated. He said he did, and he does it in the shower. My husband takes long showers, so that filled in that gap. Then I asked him who he thought about when he did that. He said he mostly thought about me. Sometimes he thought about two musicians/actresses. It feels weird to actually post their names in a thread, so I won't say their names, but one was a late 90s pop star who is now an actress and voiced a Disney princess, and the other is a violinist. After a few moments of silence, he also admitted that he had a fantasy about that other parent and had thought of her in the shower. I wasn't thinking when I asked my next question, it kinda just came out. I asked if he was attracted to her. There were a few more moments of awkward silence before he said he was. But he also said he recognized that attraction and set some hard boundaries for himself. He said that he's kept his texts to scouting-related/adjacent topics and books, except for the one where he gave her car advice. That was just that text, and he never went over there to help her because he was with me that entire day. Doesn't get into situations where he is alone with her, and just treats her like a friend. The only time that he's been to her house is when he was picking up her son for scouting events, and he sat in the car in the driveway while our kids went to the door. He does not meet with her outside of scouting, and when we see them at school band concerts or other school events, we rarely talk with her. He also said that he's more attracted to me than anyone else, and that he's made a conscious choice to not act on any feelings besides the feelings that he has for me. Since I had asked him about other people, he also asked me if I'd been attracted to anyone. I admitted that I think I'm attracted to the other parent of one of the kids I teach. He knows that I only speak to these parents for like 5 minutes a day in the chaos of drop-off and pick-up, and that I don't connect with the parents on social media until after their kids are out of my class. He didn't try to make me feel bad about it, and he said he only asked because I had asked that question of him. So that's where we're at. I think I'm feeling insecure about myself because this other parent looks like I used to before I had kids. She's skinny, she runs marathons and backpacks, and shares some interests with my husband. But he's enthusiastic about spending time with me and meeting all of my needs. And he's home every night with me, and he always has location sharing turned on for me so that I can always see his location. Update: I should clarify something here. When I asked the Scoutmaster about my husband and this other parent, it was about how those other married couple comments got started. She filled in the details about how they interact, but I never told the Scoutmaster that I suspected him of cheating, just that the comments that a third parent made were making me uncomfortable. I told my husband that I had that conversation about those comments with the Scoutmaster. In the comments, Rice Correct says, "I'm gonna be honest, it doesn't sound like he's cheating. It sounds like you both are honest with each other and have decent communication. An unfortunate byproduct of honesty to direct questions and good communication is that sometimes you might hear an answer that makes you feel a certain way. That's what happened here. We're married, not blind. We see other attractive people. It's gonna happen. I know my husband finds some celebrities attractive because I've asked. This is fine. He's probably never going to encounter them, and even if he did, I trust him. He's not a cheater. I wouldn't want to know, however, if he found one of our mutual acquaintances attractive. I'm not stupid. Some of them are, but I don't want to hear him say it, so I don't ask. And I don't worry about it because, again, I trust him. I think you need to learn to let all of this go. Go ahead and get involved in the scouting if you wish. Trust in the life that you have built with your husband. He will find other people attractive now and then, as will you. But hot people don't hold a candle to the one that you've built a happy home and life with. Thanks for the update. It honestly sounds like you and your husband have a healthy marriage. You brought up a sensitive issue, he responded, and was open. You both asked uncomfortable questions and were honest. Good work, and I hope for the best for you and your hubby. Me too, OP. This was a wonderful update. You two did show honest, transparent communication that we don't see enough on here. This was handled perfectly. I'm not going to go back on my previous advice, though, about getting irrefutable proof. If it was the case, you do want to have that. But this situation shows that he was not cheating, and you went to everyone to get a better idea as to what the situation was. Thank you for giving us that example of how to tackle situations like this, even though it is uncomfortable, even though we don't always want to do that. Anyway, guys, that's where I'm going to end today's episode. I do hope you enjoyed. If you did, let me know what you thought of it in the comments down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.